Hey friends, Dubmaster Kahn here. Thanks so much for coming back to the channel. I know I've been gone for a long time, but as you can see, I'm in the new studio that I've been building for the last 6 months. So before we get into the intent of this video, which is to show you the awesome Dubmaster Drums one-drop sample pack, I'm just going to show you around the studio and then we'll dive in. Okay, welcome to the studio. Here we are. So the first thing that you'll notice is this wonderful 1922 Heinzmann piano from Toronto. It has this really beautiful, awesome tiger oak finish, and they just don't make them like they used to. It's a beautiful upright piano, the tall one. I think it's like 52 inches tall or whatever. It's got the full body sound, and man, all the keys work, the action's great. It's just quality. Think of like a Model T Ford, Moving on, this is a piece of furniture that I made out of pallets, the bottom part of the pallets. I thought it would be cool as like kind of a makeshift DIY diffuser, and it'd be something cool to hang my guitars on. So now we're looking at the ceiling cloud. I made two identical clouds, and I toasted the wood. You'll see a lot of that on the stuff in there. I got this really cool light fixture that I found, and the ceiling cloud, the middle obviously has some diffusion. Not diffusion, absorption. Those are 2 foot by 4 foot LEDs. Now this piece of furniture is just for looks. It does have Roxel in the background, and it's made of pallets. And the one down there is a real acoustic diffuser, a quadratic diffuser. You can see the corners have floor to ceiling corner chunk absorption, and you can see my little tube amp there, and you've got these cool pallets that I burned. I just love the look of it. It's super cool. It's like, my music, which is vintage and kind of clean. That's why the lines are clean. Yeah, there's my Dubwise Deluxe, the tube kit that I made. Now moving on to the Hammond M3 from 1955. I picked this up on Marketplace. It works really great. Nothing wrong with it. Outstanding organ. Highly recommend it. Really good for bubble. And paired with the pedal that I'm using, it works real great. So you can kind of see the little pattern I did with the pallets. Now we're kind of looking at the lighting. I've got 8 of these cheap par LED lights, and they're real cool to make kind of like just a cool vibe in the studio, Think of like on stage or for the backdrop of the YouTube stuff. So I've got those kind of mounted up on behind the beam there and in the 4 corners. So yeah, you can see I've got the absorption panels on the side. Now this one I'm really proud of. This was the nicest looking pallets, kind of dirty and clean, that I could find. And I made the little light sconces poke through there. On the back of those is absorption. I've got tons of absorption, floor to ceiling in the corners. Now you can kind of see, you'll recognize most of this stuff. That's the U87 I'm talking into right now. I've got the Midas console. This is the newest addition to the studio. It's a Tascam 38, which was bought by the Roots makers, and we're going to use that on the new EP we're working on. And so yeah, you've seen all the rest of this gear. Big up the Handsome Audio Zulu. That thing's awesome. And yeah, so now I'm going to attempt to show you the floor, which is a gym floor. It's a used gym flooring I got for $500. But here's the real belle of the ball, the mahogany drum kit that I'm just sampled, and you're going to hear in the later parts of this video. I've got the Zildjian dark thin crashes. I've got 2 Rototoms, 6-inch and 8-inch. The Ludwig Supraphonic here, which you can't see. Yep, and then we got the 2 toms. They're both 12-inch. I got a 14-inch snare that I've turned into a timbali, and a 16-inch floor tom. There's the 6-inch roto and the 8-inch roto. There's the Sinair trigger, dark thin crash, 19-inch, dark thin crash, 17-inch, and the hi-hat is a 14-inch Zildjian A master sound hi-hat. It's super bright. It's got the little crinkles on the bottom. And the kick drum is a 20-inch by 16-inch with the coin taped on the beater for that attacky sound. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Welcome to the studio. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let's dive into these drum samples. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to show you guys is the AB, real drums versus fake. Here we go. Wait, hang on. Was that real drums or was that samples? That was samples. Let's hear the real drums. Now we're back to samples. Okay, so let's listen to this fill. Real drums. Now, samples. Like, am I crazy or did I actually do it? My intent was to record that drum kit behind me before I put it away and set up my new one to make a kit so that I could capture it forever and recreate it in the DAW for everybody. I think I did it. I think that it is so close. So let me go back. I'm going to kind of just switch back and forth. Here's real drums. And then here's fake drums. Back to real. Back to fake. Back to the samples. Back to real. Okay, I'm gonna rewind and go to the samples. Listen to the timbali. Oh. Go buy the sample pack. Should I stop the video or should I show you the individual sounds? Okay, I'll show you the individual sounds. So how I've routed this, got to turn on my B cam. How I've routed this is I've got all the sample packs I've made them into samplers in Logic, but if you have a different DAW, you can do it this way too. So let's just listen. So these are all the kick samples. And this is kick long, I call it, just because I let the release of the low end, bloom out a little bit longer. So here's the long one. See, it's like boom. Here's the short one. Boom. Long, short. It's the same sample, but it's in the tail of the gate is the difference. So yeah, I've got lots of samples here. There's 20 kick samples. So, and they're clickier at the top than at the bottom. So really what I did is it's velocity sensitive, I kicked it slow, kind of real low, and then a little bit more and more and more intense so that you can really get some realistic feel, on the ba-boom, ba-boom, not ba-ba, and it's the same sample every time, I really went for realism. So I did this kind of freehand. Let's listen to this little one drop. So let's listen to the hi-hat. And I've got it so that it triggers only one at a time. So yeah, there's three types of things going on here for the three different how you hit the sample. So the first one is the tip until about here. You can hear the difference. And then that's like the middle. That's like the middle of, instead of the tip hitting the hi-hat, it's like the middle, like the shank. Not the shank, but the shoulder. And then that's the shank of the hit. You know what I mean? So you got the tip, the shoulder, and the shank like that. So the shank, oops, and then open, obviously. So you got, yeah. And I've got some really nice varying like time of open hi-hat. So and it closes quickly. A little bit longer, a little bit longer, a little bit longer. Real long. That one's like basically wide open. Yeah, so there's a lot of great articulation. And so how I've set this sampler up is basically across the whole keyboard, you know? I wanted you to hear them all, so to speak. So right? So much articulation. You could play anything that you would ever need to play on a hi-hat on that. So here's the side stick. So I've got like something like 12 or 11 different ones. You know, and it's just me. I just slightly moved my hand around the snare drum just to get a little bit of a different. See, this one's like lower pitched, higher pitched, and louder. Because you don't want it to sound the same every time. Unless you do, then you just use one sample, right? The snare. This is what I'm really excited about. Oh, man. Man, Carlton Barrett would be happy. Yes. So good. There are so many samples in this one. And this is just Logic's stupid sampler. You could bring it into any DAW. And yeah, so there's 42 samples of the snare. You know, obviously these are like the middle ones when you're starting the roll. So these are just a little bit louder. Now you're kind of getting a little bit closer to the rim. Now you're kind of getting at the rim. And that one's like actually a rim shot. Hitting the rim. And it's not easy to do. It took me so much time to figure out how to actually hit the snare properly to get that sound. And how to mic it and where to put it and everything. And how to process it. All of the above. So I've done all the work for you. All you got to do is grab the pack. And I've also given you some rolls too. Oh, sorry, that was soloed. That's it. Just so if you can't figure out how to map it in the MIDI roll, that was me actually playing that whole roll. You know, I like to create them like I was doing with this sampler, you know? And that's basically very similar. Yeah, anyways. So that's the snare. The toms are really, really sweet. So I'll just go through them. Yeah, man. So, you know, quieter to louder to really smacking it. And then, so that's the high tom. Those toms sound so good. They took me a long time. And I've tried to record these toms a lot. Never did I get them this good. I really spent time. And then the floor tom. They're good. Awesome. So I EQ'd the cymbals two different ways. This one's brighter. Right? So that from here to here is the 17 inch. And here's the 19 inch. Actually, the other way around. This is the 19. This is the 17. A little higher pitched, right? And then the same thing, but kind of darker. So this is a little bit more natural, what they actually sound like. Versus, you know, I brightened them up because they're dark, thin, whatever. But if you wanted to do some real kind of, you know, chill, you got the dark version. So here's the timbali dampened. I did the timbali two ways. Oh man, that is a timbali. And actually, it's not a real timbali. It's a cheap snare like they would do in Jamaica. I took the snare and I took the bottom off it and I just did you know, a single ply head. And this is dampened. It's just got a little bit of tape on it. And I'm talking just a tiny bit. Versus open. Yeah. So you can hear the difference. That's dampened. That's open. But they both sound super good. Oh yeah. And also how I process these, the louder it goes, the more saturation, you know what I mean? It's kind of gain staged into the processing. So like this one, you know, there's a little bit of there. But on these, they're a little more cleaner because it's not as loud. Yeah. And then here, last but not least, the rototoms. Love it. I have searched for rototom samples and they don't exist, not like this. Love it. So I did two different tunings of the high tom, or the 8-inch one, and then here's the lower one. So these are kind of in tune with each other. And then the lower tuning, which would match these ones. So high tuning, and then the low tuning. Yeah, man. I'm really, really excited about this pack. I hope that you see how sick that they sound. Let's just listen to this really quick again. Like, it sounds like a real kit. That's what I love. Okay, so what I also did is I compiled them all onto one kind of keyboard kit. So let's take a look at that one. And I also recorded a little rhythm to it because I just want to show you that you really can make good reggae from this. So this kit here, I'll show you. I took all the processed samples. I'll show you here. And basically I layered them. So I got, if you had like an electronic drum kit, it's set for that. Got the timbali here. And the other one. Yeah. The toms. The rolls here too. And then got the cymbals. And then the rotos. Yeah, man. All right, so let's take a listen to this little rhythm that I made. Yeah. Listen to this part. Yeah. So I'm going to include this little song here and how the kit is obviously all set up and everything, if you have Logic. And then I made some other cool little rolls and stuff. So that's it. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys where you can pick up the pack. So if you go to Google and type in BeatStars, click on the first link, and then in their search DM Kahn, but you have to click down to sound kits. Very important, DM Kahn. Then click on my name there. So here's the new one. It's $80. And for those that can't afford that, I wanted to provide something a little more cost effective. I've been selling my other sample pack that you've seen in my other videos for $50. If you've emailed me and bought that, this is what it is. It's the Legacy pack. It's $35. It comes with a bunch of great rub-a-dub sounds and a little bit of the one drop style. But anyways, here's the new one. Let's click on it. Oh, it's in the cart now. So here it is. Big description on everything that is included, as well as a little story. But if you buy it, this is what you get. So the unprocessed samples are all here and very nicely organized and named. And then, sorry, those are the processed ones. These are the unprocessed, which I used to make the processed samples. And yeah, so we went through those. And then if you have Logic, I've got these two samplers set up. One is like each drum on its own sampler across the whole keyboard, and then the other one is like the kit that I played in the last segment of the video. So there's that, and then I've included some extras, some cool photos of the drum kit, as well as this artwork you see here on the screen, and some samples from my UFO sample pack, which is the Cinair, because in the photo you can see I got the trigger pad there, so it would be false advertising if I didn't give you some of those samples. Yeah, and you can check those ones out. That's this guy here, the UFO Clone 3. I took a clone of the Cinair that I made from a kit. I have a video on that as well. and sampled it for people to use, because that's kind of a very iconic 80s sound. But anyways, I also got the dub stems here if you're learning dub, or if you want some tracks like real full, every separate track to practice mixing and dubbing on. Those are what those are there for. So yeah, that's basically all I'm really selling. But I just wanted to say thanks so much for watching this. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Like and share this video. Also, drop me a comment. What kind of content do you want to see in this upcoming season of this awesome studio that I built? Obviously, I want to do some stuff on what I've learned on the drums in the past 2 years, and I have a lot of ideas, but I want to hear from you. What do you want to hear, and what do you want to see on this channel? Anyways, have a wonderful day, and go out there and make some good reggae. Peace.